Welcome back to the Crochet Corrados. Those my friends at Joanne.com. I'm your host, Mikey. Today is week number 1 of the fall stitch along for 2023. This is called the Open Flower Blanket, and this is using Bernat Blanket Perfect Phasing. The color that you're seeing here is fuchsia. You also have a choice of dark blue, and we also have dark orchid. These just take 5 balls in order to do it, and you can see how the yarn works out, and it's really quite amazing. So let me just zoom you out really quickly here, and the yarn will phase from one color all the way out to the other color. So when you do this, you can either go from the center going on out, and then your next ball you'll go from the out going back in, so that you'll get the perfect phasing, as you can see, going throughout this whole blanket. And it's a wonderful opportunity, and you can do that with all of your colors. The other sample we have is still the same pattern, and this here is using Bernat Plush yarn that looks like this, and it is really quite squishy. It's a heavier yarn compared to Bernat Blanket, and I love the way that this feels. Now, this particular project is exactly the same as I mentioned, but the gauge size is the same for both of them, but both of them require a different hook. So if you are using the Bernat Blanket Perfect Phasing, you are going to use an 8mm size L/11 crochet hook, or for the Bernat Plush version that you see right here, it is going to be a size N as in Nancy /15, and it's also a 10mm for those that are in the metric system. So what we have here is a beautiful example of creativity, and make sure that you do a gauge check. The gauge is 7 single crochets and 8 rows equals 4 inches. So without further ado, we're going to head on into this pattern, and I'm going to show you the diagram, because you're going to see that this is a 6-row repeat once we get moving on this thing. So let's take a look at the diagram that's been provided for this week, and this diagram has a stitch key that's available with the pattern. I've just blown it up for tutorial purposes today. Everything that you need to know is here. What is unique about this is that there's a chainless starting double crochet, which I've never done before, and also I have never done working in the 3rd loop of a double crochet before on the front and the back, and that'll be new for me as well. So when we look at the diagram here, this is a wonderful opportunity. This here from 2 all the way through 7 is the repeat over and over and over until we get to a certain size. But we need to get ourselves started with the very first part of this, and we're going to just create like a foundation area to begin, and those will be 3 rows, and then we're going to convert into this. So row number 1, we are going to just get ourselves established so we can find out where all of these beautiful shells are going to be, and once that's done, it's pretty much easy, good to go. Now, I did highlight the pattern, so we have to really watch a few of these stitches when we're doing this in order to keep the sequence, and that's just something that we're going to highlight as we hit it. So I am going to use Bernat Plush yarn today. The color is called Sky Blue, and that's what I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to just duplicate what you see here. But of course, if you want to change the pattern, it's in multiples of 9 plus 10. So you go 9, 9, 9, and then add 10 at the end of the chain. However, if you change anything like that right now, it will change the yarn quantities, and we will leave that for you to be able to figure out on your own. So without further ado, I'm going to start with my 10mm size N as in Nancy crochet hook with my Bernat Plush yarn. Let's begin. So let's begin by doing rows number 1, 2, and 3. And so we're going to start our way across, and that's where we're going to begin our journey. And then I'll bring you back with the diagram when we're ready for the body of this for row number 1 through the repeat section, just like this. Let's begin. With a slip knot on the hook, you're either going to chain loosely 82, or you're going to do loosely the multiples of 9 plus 10 as you just explained. So just nicely easy going. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and go all the way to 82 if you're following the pattern exactly. So let's begin the row number 1 as we're starting off this blanket. You're going to go second chain from the hook, and it's going to be right here. So the first and the second, and because this is thick yarn, I'm recommending that when you go into the second chain, make sure that there's 2 strands on top of the hook and 1 on the bottom, and this will have a nice tighter look to the beginning. And you're just going to single crochet. So you're just going to move down your chain. It's right here, again making sure there's 2 on top and 1 on the bottom, and single crochet. So just take your time and single crochet all the way across your chain, and meet me back here in just a moment, and this is row number 1. I'm all the way to my very last chain here on row number 1. Let's turn your work and we're going to do 2 and 3, and I'll have you do that on your own, but let me explain it first. Rows 2 and 3 are both going to be the same. It's just single crochet. Just chain up 1 and apply 1 single crochet in the first one and 1 single crochet in all of them all the way to the end. At the end of your work there, just turn again and just do the same thing for row number 3. And I'm going to pick you up at the end of row number 3, and we're going to start the body of the blanket after that. So please do these 2 rows, number 2 and 3. I'm now at the end of row number 3, and we're going to turn and work, and we're going to start the body of it and go to row number 1. Let me go back to the diagram and show you what's up next. We're going to go to the diagram, and we are currently going to be right here, and this is called the chainless starting double crochet, which I've never done before, and I'm going to explain it to you slowly a few times, and then we're going to get moving on this thing. And so every time you hit that, we are going to just do it, but I'm only going to show it to one time in a slow motion format. So we're going to have 5 double crochets complete, and that includes that chainless double crochet. So there'll be 5, and then you're going to skip 2 stitches, chain 2, and single crochet in the next, chain 4, skip 2, and single crochet the next, skip 2, chain 2, and then double crochet in the next. And you're going to repeat this over and over. Just remember, you're always skipping 2 single crochets when you're on this particular row, which makes it easier to remember. When you get back to the other side here, the last 5 will always be 5 stitches, and in this case it'll be 5 double crochets. And if you look at the diagram going up, you always see that there's 5 on the edge on both sides. Let's begin row number 1. Let's begin row number 1 with the chainless double crochet. And so I will show it to you a few times. So you want to pull the loop up high enough that it equals the height of a double crochet. If you're not sure of the height, just double crochet a few times and then you can see what the height is, and that'll help you. I want you to push the hook so it's facing in this configuration right here, and I want you to use your pointer finger, and I want you to really push down on this thing right here. Rotate this hook towards you so that this is coming towards you so that you can see it, and your finger is creating a gap space. You're going to look for the very first stitch, which will be right where my thumb is, where this loop is coming out of, and just go in. Noticing I'm not lifting up that pointer finger, I'm just holding it firm, and I'm going to wrap the yarn and pull through, and then wrap the yarn and pull through the 2 loops that you see, 1 and 2, and therefore you can let it go at this point and just pull through the final 2. Okay, so let me show you again. If this is hard for you, it's okay, you'll get through it. So pull up what you think the height is. Okay, and then I want you to push down here, noticing the orientation of the hook because it's easier, and rotate around so this is coming towards you, and then just push the head into the stitch. Yarn over, pull through these 2 loops. You can let it go and then pull through the final. I'm going to show you one more time. Just keep practicing and just put me on pause if you need to practice. So pull up, turn the hook, push hard, wrap. So you're pushing so it doesn't unspin. Go into the stitch. Yarn over, pull through, and pull through the first 2 loops. You can let it go and pull through the final 2. And that is your chainless starting double crochet. So now I'm going to move on. So the next 4 stitches will each be a regular double crochet. So the reason for that chainless double crochet is that it makes the edge and it doesn't create a space that you typically see with double crochet. So it's actually a really good tip to know. I can see myself using that in the future. So with the standing and these 4, that gives you the 5, so therefore you have your edge. So now we're going to bounce our way all the way across. So we're going to chain 2 to begin, and you're going to skip 2 and single crochet into the next. So the 3rd one away. Chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and skip 2 and single crochet in the next. This here is the foundation of a shell that you'll have in the future. So chain 2, skip 2, and double crochet the third one away. So here is the housing for your shell. So let's restart again. So chain 2, skip 2, single crochet in the next, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, skip only 2 and single crochet in the next, chain 2, skip 2 and double crochet in the next. And now there's another shell work. So you're just going to keep repeating that until you get close to the other side. So let's go again. So chain 2, skip 2, single crochet in the next, chain 4, skip 2, single crochet in the next, and then chain 2. So you would just double crochet the third one away if you're going to repeat this over and over to get to the other side. If you're ready for the other side, which is where I am, just put me on pause if you're not ready for it. But for other people that are going to continue, here we go. We're going to skip the next 2, and we're going to double crochet in the last 5 stitches that you have. So because I did a multiple of 9 plus 10, this equals exactly what it should. Okay, and the 82 works as well when you started that in the very beginning. So here is your edge on the other side with your 5 double crochets, and now you have everything already lined up for you to start. And row number 2 through 7 is the repeat throughout the whole body. So let's turn our work and pull up our diagram and let's begin to look. So number 2, we're going to chain up 1 and we're going to apply 5 single crochets in a row on top of these doubles. You're going to chain 1 and then put 9 double crochet into this chain 4 space. And then you need to chain 1, single crochet in the top of that double, chain 1, and then put another 9 into the next chain 4 space. And you're going to do that over and over. My key tip is don't forget to do that chain 1 that is before and after one of these shells. When you get to the other side, you'll have to chain 1 before you get there, and the last 5 will be a single crochet in each. Let's do row number 2. Let's do row number 2. You're going to chain 1 and apply 1 single crochet in each of the next 5. So start with the first one. And we can count those together. So we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is a very easy row, by the way. So this is row number 2, which is part of the repeat. Before you begin into this chain 4 space, so you're skipping this space, go to this one, chain 1 first, and apply 9 double crochets right into the space. I'll count the first one with you, and then I'm going to count quietly the rest of them. So we're going to start by double crocheting 9 times. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. If you're confident on your counting, then just go ahead, but you may want to double check just to make sure, just to get it right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Remember, you need to chain 1 after the last one, and then you're going to hit this double crochet right here. And you were going to single crochet in there. So you're going to start another one of these. So chain 1 before you start, and then put in another 9 double crochets into this chain 4 space. So you're skipping this and going right here, and we're going to do 9, and I'm going to count it quietly. there's 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Don't forget to chain 1 after it and come to your next double crochet, which is right here. And you're going to single crochet, and you're just going to keep doing this all the way across in those chain 4 spaces. So I'm coming up to my last one here, and so I'll chain 1 before I start, and again do another 9, and I'll do it quietly. Once you get your last 9 in here, chain 1, and if you're ready for the edge, this is what you'll do. The last 5 here, which includes that chainless double crochet, is each single crochet. So you can count it to yourself if you want to. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is the last one. Perfect. So this is what it will look like. Beautiful. We're going to turn to work and move to row number 3, and this is when the game plan changes. In row number 3, we're currently right here. We're going to do a chainless double crochet, which I'm just going to go in regular speed, and then we're going to then double crochet just the next 3 into the regular stitch. And this one here, we're going to use a back loop only. Now, do you see that there is a chevron that is turned upside down like so? If you look at the stitch key, it says that this was worked in the 3rd loop of the back of the work. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the 3rd loop of this double crochet, and each one of the ones in the shell here, the 9, are all working in the same spot in behind. And once I show you where that is, which I'll take my time, you're going to see that. We're also going to be dealing with going up and down. So this provides more space going in the peak, and this is going to decrease. So when we do a decrease stitch, we're going to use the back loop here. It's also called a back bar. And then you're going to use the back loop of the single crochet because there is no bar for a single crochet. And then the next one here, there's going to be the back bar here, and it's a 3 together double crochet using the back bar. And so we just have to go up and down. So you're going to notice is that there will be 3 together, 2 together, and 1 by itself. And then on the opposite side, it's 1 by itself, 2 together, and then 3 together, sweeps like that. Okay, so it's easy to remember going in the up and down motion. Let's begin and start row number 3. Just take your time, it's not a race. Let's begin row number 3. It's a chainless starting double crochet, so just do what you need to do in order to make it work. So hopefully you've been practicing a little bit and you get it done. So it makes it thicker, and so therefore you don't end up with a gap in the space. You don't see a gap below because it doesn't exist because of this. So now what we have is that the next 3 only are going to be a regular double crochet. So we have 1, 2, and 3. But you're noticing, wait, there's another one right here. This is going to be a back loop double crochet. So in the world of crochet, there's always 2 strands for a full stitch. The strand that's closest to you is a front loop, and the other strand away from you is the back loop, and the back loop is where you want to go. So you're going to double crochet in the back loop. Okay, so it creates this line, which is what you're looking for. So all the rest now here are going to be using the back bar or the back loop of double crochet. And so how we determine that is that when you look at this, the stitch work, you have the regular 2 stitches on top. The 3rd loop or the back loop is the actual turning it over even further and looking for it, and it's right here. Do you see that? So if you're looking for the next one, it's right here. Once you see it, it's hard to unsee. And once you get it, it just works out really quite beautifully in order to do that. Okay, so now that we know where that stitch is, we are going to start off by putting a 2 together using the first 2 of these right here. And so we're going to be using the 3rd loop at the back of the work. So just looking, and so you got the top, and it's right here in the back. Now, I've just had a massive outtake, so mine are a little bit more exaggerated than yours will be. So you just have to use the first one there, pull through, and then do the next one. So it's a 2 together double crochet. Okay, so you see 3 loops, pull through all 3. We're now going to, the next 2 will be 1 double crochet by itself. So again, just looking at the tops and keep on going to the 3rd loop in behind. So that'll be 1 by itself, and then the next one. Now we're going to head to the middle of this, and how we do that is that we chain 2, and again using the 3rd loop in behind, you are going to single crochet. Now you're going to chain 2, and now we're going to sweep down and back up and keep doing that all the way to the other side. So the first one out will always be, so just the first one after the middle is going to be a double crochet by itself. The next 2 will be a 2 together double crochet, and I'm assuming that you know it's the back, it's the 3rd loop in the back side at this point. It's the whole thing all the way until you get to the next edge. So it'll be a 2 together there, and now this one is going to be sweeping around. You're going to pick up the last one of this petal, the back loop of the single, and then the 3rd loop on the back of the first one of this petal. So we just reach in behind and grab the first one, pull through 2 and hold. You're going to do the back loop of this single. So there's no 3rd loop for single. That's why that's on the back loop of that one. And now we come to the first one of the petal, and again the back loop here, the 3rd is in that one. Okay, so the 3rd one, and pull through all 3. And so that's sweeped around and picked up everything. Now we're going to head back up. It's always the same, and so it's going to be 2 together double crochet, and then it's going to be 1 double crochet on its own by itself. Now we're ready for the top, chain 2, and single crochet again in the 3rd loop. Chain 2, and so the down is always going to be the same. The next one out is going to be a double crochet by itself. And then the next 2 are a double crochet, 2 together. Okay, once you see the 3 loops, pull through. And now the next one is going to sweep, pick up the last one of this, the single, and then the first one on the other side. Make sure it's the back loop of the single, and then going back to the 3rd loop on the next petal. So this is keeping the top edge of that last row all exposed like this. So we're going to go up. So what is going to be the next 2? It's going to be a double crochet 2 together. So those stitches are 2 stitches are used as 1. And then we have 1 double crochet by itself. And then this is the middle, so chain 2 and single on the 3rd loop. And then chain 2. Now you're just going to go up and down all the way across like this, and it will create these deep ridges. But when you're ready for the final coming down, it's slightly different, and then the final edge. So if you're not ready for that, just put me on pause and just keep repeating what I just showed you over and over. And then when you're on your last one coming down, then you'll finish it the way I'm about to show you. So let's keep on going. So the next 2 in a row will just be, after you've done your chain 2, will just be a double crochet by itself. So there's 2 double crochets in a row. And the very final 2 of this petal will be a 2 together double crochet. And now we're ready for the edge. So the first one here is going to be using just the back loop of the first single crochet for a double crochet that you see. So it'll be a double crochet in the back loop only. And then we're going to switch back to the regular stitches. So just going into the regular stitch for the last 4 along the edge. Okay, so you have these beautiful deep ridges, you have your peaks with the spaces which you need, and this is what this row was, and we're moving on to row number 4 in a moment. So please turn your work and let's get ready for that. In row number 4, you're going to notice is that the last row may have been a little tough for you. It's the only time you have to do that. So whenever you're on a 3, it's on the back 3rd loop of the double crochet, but you're not going to have to do that anymore until you get back to a row 3 in the future. And these ones here are done on the front 3rd loop on the front side, and they are a lot easier to find. Okay, so if you're feeling like this was a little tough for you, you only have to do it 1 time within the sequence of the repeat. So in row number 4, we're going to chain up 1, and we're going to put in 5 half double crochets in a row, and then we're going to chain 2. And I call them lonely. You can call them anything you want, but I find that these guys are lonely. They're sitting by themselves. So you're going to single crochet into the last one before the chain 2 space, and then chain 2, double crochet into the single, chain 2, and then go into the other one here on the other side. And they're kind of sitting there all lonely by themselves. That's just the way I visualize it for myself. You're then going to chain 4, and then go into this one before the chain 2, the lonely one, and single crochet, chain 2, and double crochet into the single. And you're just going to repeat this. So row number 4 here is a really quick row. So you're going to notice is that row number 4 and also 7 are really quick to go across. The other 2 just require a little bit more attention. Let's begin row number 4, and don't forget on the end, it's 5 half double crochets in a row. So let's begin number 4. Let's begin number 4, just a chain 1. It doesn't count as anything, and the first 5 in a row will be each a half double crochet. Okay, so let's get ready now. We're going to chain 2, and you're looking for the double crochet before the chain space. So it's this lonely one right here. My mom would explain things to me in those kind of terms, so I remember. So now you're going to chain 2, and you're going to double crochet into the single that is in the top of the peak that you see below. And then you chain 2, and look for the next double crochet that's lonely by itself after the chain 2 space, and the top is right here. Single crochet there. So we're now going to create, you know how we created these spaces? We're going to create it right here now. So it's offset so that it does like a honeycomb effect when you're looking at the blanket as a whole. So you're going to chain 4 and look for the 1 before the next space right here. So you're skipping over the 3. And you're just going to single crochet there. So this is going to create that chain 4 space, which you need in the future. Chain 2, and now you're going to double crochet into the next single. This is the top of the last one that you did. Chain 2, look for the next double that's lonely by itself after the space, single crochet, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, skipping 3, but just look for the one that's just before the space if it makes it easier for you, and single crochet, and keep doing this across. So chain 2, double crochet into the next single, chain 2, look for the next one that's after this next space, the lonely one, and you keep doing this all the way across, and I'm going to show you how to finish in just a second. So if you're not ready for that, just put me on pause. So for those that are ready to finish, you're going to just chain 2 from this point, and you were going to look for the final 5 that you have. Okay, so right here, and you were just going to half double crochet the final 5. So a nice easy row, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is the 5th one right here. And that completes that, and now you have another layer here to get ready to do more shells that will end up here and here and etc. Please do this, and we're going to move on to round number 5 after we turn our work in just a moment. In row number 5, we're right here, and we're going to do that chainless double crochet to start, and then the next 4 will each be a double crochet. This chain 2 space that just is after is going to have 4 double crochets, chain 1, and then you're going to single in the top of this double. You're going to chain 1, and then it's just like you were doing before. You put your 9 double crochets into this chain 4 space. Don't forget to chain 1 after it, and then you'll do a single crochet right here into this double, and then chain 1, and then put 9 into the next chain 4 space, and make sure you chain 1 after it. And when we get to the other side here, we chain 1 and then put 4 into the chain 2 space, and then finish it off with 5 double crochets in a row at the end. Let's try this for row number 5. Okay, let's begin. We're going to do the chainless double crochet. There we go. It's taken me a bit of practice, just so you know. So now we have the next 4 in a row will each be a double crochet. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So with that chainless and the 4, it gives you the 5, which is what you needed. Let's move along. The next chain 2 space right here is going to have 4 double crochets in there. So I'll count these with you. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Followed by a chain 1, and you're looking for the next double crochet. It's after this space, and it's right here, and you're going to single crochet there. And now it's going to be like it was down here. So you chain 1 and look for the next big chain 4 space. It's second over, and you're going to do 9 there. I'll count it quietly in my brain if I only had one. So let's go. So we'll do 9. So 1, 'If you're confident that it was 9, then keep on going. I'm going to double check. And then chain 1. So if I was by myself, I wouldn't double check because I believe in myself, but because this is a tutorial, I'm counting because I don't want to refilm. So I'm looking for the next double crochet here. So it's after this next space, and I'm going to single there. And then I'm going to keep making these going across. So just chain 1 and look for the next chain 4 space and do another 9. So I got my 9 in there, so I don't forget to chain 1, And you keep doing that all the way across. Don't forget the next single is in the double right here. It's after the space. And when you're ready for the very final edge, if you're not, just put me on pause. But if you're ready for that, chain 1, and in this space before the edge, this chain 2 space is going to be 4 double crochet. So I'll count these. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you have your 5 stitches that are left, and you're going to just apply 1 double crochet into those last 5. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so this is what this row did. Really quite fun and fabulous. We are looking at the right side of the work, so the good side if you were to display it. And so the next row, we're going to be changing the story again and doing double crochet on the 3rd loop on the front side, which is not a hard thing. So let's just turn our work and let's go back to the diagram. So in row number 6, we're about to start, and we're going to chain up 1, and then we're going to do 4 single crochets in a row. And then the 5th one is going to be on the front loop. Okay, it's going to be on the 3rd loop in the front. And once I show you where that is, it gets a lot easier. So all of these will be exactly what you know that you did here, but you're working on the front loops only, so the front 3rd loop. And what this is going to do is it's going to turn the last row so that it's flipped out away from you, because you're looking at the back side of the work at this moment on this row. So we're going to go up and down in the same motion we did before. We're just using a different area of the double crochet. You can let me know in the comments, have you done this stitch before? For me, it was brand new. Just like the middle, we are going to use only the front loops. Last time we did the back loops, but because we're working on this side, we need to make sure that we're focusing on that. And then when you get over to the other side here, the first single crochet out will be on the 3rd loop here in the front, and then the rest of the 4 will be in the regular stitches. Let's give it a try. This one is not so hard. You'll see. Let's start row number 6. Chain up 1, and let's just do the 4 single crochets in a row, because that's what we already know. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, in crochet, we had the 2 stitches at the top like I showed you before, but on this side, this here is the front 3rd loop. So looking at the 2 in the top, this is the 3rd on the front side, and if you turn it over, that is the 3rd on the back. But we only want to focus on the front side, so it's right in front of our faces. We just got to use it. So do you see it? It's right here. It's like one layer down. So think about it like a 2-story house. It's the first story of the house. So when we start the next single crochet, we're going to use that stitch, and that will complete, or that part there, and we're going to get started. Once you get the first one, I find the rest of them are very easy to grab. Okay, so that was the 5th one using the 3rd loop on the front side. So let's go on up on this side here, and we are going to chain 2. And we're going to have the next one as 1 double crochet by itself. And I'm just going to assume that you know it's the 3rd loop in the front. But did you see that? I don't have to turn it, I don't have to do anything. I just got to slip underneath it. The next 2 will be used as a 2 together double crochet. So I kind of using my thumb just to kind of stabilize it and push it onto the needle or to the hook. And once I see my 3 loops, I'm done. Pull through all 3 and it's good to go. Like we did before, we're going to pick up the last one of this petal. We're going to pick up just the front loop of this and then continue again on this side for the 3 together that we know about. So we're going to yarn over, coming into this one, pull through and hold it, do just the front loop only of the single, and then right here on the other side. So these ones are a lot easier to see, right? Let me know in the comments how you feel about that, because I think you might agree with me. Once you see the 4, pull through all 4. So this is causing the ridge to happen on the other side. And so you can see this is the ridges that you're looking at when the afghan's being opened up and you're seeing it. So the up and down motion is always going to be the same moving forward. So the next one here, you can see it is available. So those will be a 2 together double crochet. And the next one is going to be that one lonely one by itself, which you'll see in the future. So it's 1 double crochet by itself. And now we're at the top. So the top, how we're going to do it, chain 2, and you are going to single crochet again on the 3rd loop on the front. Chain 2. And then we come down this side. So we're going to start with the 1 double crochet by itself. Hopefully you can start to see the repeating of this. Okay, the next 2 will be a 2 together double crochet. I love this yarn, by the way. I don't think I said that in this tutorial yet, but I love this yarn. I like the way it feels on my hands. So pull through the 3. Okay, so now we're going to pick up the 3. So it's the last one of this petal, it's the front loop of the single, and then it's the first one of this petal. Okay, and now you see the 3, pull through all 3. And get excited, turn it over, and you can see all of your amazing stitch work is happening on the other side. So now let's go up again. So the first 2 out are going to be a 2 together double crochet. The next one is that lonely double crochet by itself. So I wasn't a smart kid growing up, and my mom really showed me key elements of way to learn and to remember. So I say stuff like that, and it's served me well as an adult. Okay, so chain 2 and single crochet into the next one. This is the middle. And you're going to keep going up and down the same motion going across. So let's go down again. So the first one is by itself. Okay, the next 2 are 2 together. And now the next 3 are a 3 together. So it's this one, the last one of this petal, it's a single here in the front loop, and the first one of this one right here of the group of 4. Now, if you're not ready for the edge, then just put me on pause and keep repeating that over and over. And if you're ready for the edge on how to finish, we're going to come up on this side here, and the next 2 are 2 together. Okay, the next one is 1 by itself. That's still in that group of 4, just so you know. And then chain 2, and the first one of the grouping of 5 is still going to be on the front loop here. That's the 3rd loop in the front. So it's just going to be a single crochet in the 3rd loop in the front, and then the other 4 are just a single crochet in the regular stitch work. So you really can't see your work on this row, but this row is actually a lot easier to do than the other ones, I feel, in my opinion. So when you turn it around, you can see you have that amazing stitch work that is being showcased within this afghan. So we're now going to turn our work as I just did, and we're going to begin the 7th row, which is the final of the repeat. In the 7th row, we're going to start right here. We're going to do that chainless double crochet, and then you're going to do then 4 double crochets in a row. So you have that grouping of 5. You're going to chain 2, and you're going to use the first double crochet that's after this space and just single crochet, chain 4, and then look for the one just before this one. It's the lonely one by itself, and it's just a single crochet, chain 2, and then double crochet into the middle of the single, and then keep repeating that over and over and over until you get to the end. And of course the last 5 will be on its own. So this here is like reestablishing what we did in row number 1. The only difference now is that we are working with the wave going up and down, where when we did this the first time, there was no wave because it was flat. Let's begin row number 7. Row number 7, let's do that chainless double crochet that you love. Let me know how you're feeling about that. I think it's a neat technique. And it does a nice thick beginning so you don't end up with a gapping space. So we're going to double crochet the next 4 in a row. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now let's begin to make those spaces that we love. So we're going to chain 2 and look for the double crochet after this space here, which is right here. You're going to single there, and then you're going to chain 4 to jump. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and look for the lonely double crochet before the next space over here. Okay, so you're skipping technically 3. Chain 2 and double crochet into this single here that's at the top of the last circle below. Chain 2 and look for the first double crochet after the space. So it's right here. So single crochet, chain 4, and skip 3, but it's just easier to look for the double crochet before this major space right here. Single crochet there, chain 2, double into the next single, chain 2. Okay, single into the first double after the space, chain 4. Okay, and then look for the lonely one just before the space. So you're skipping technically 3, single crochet there. And then if you're not ready for the edge, just put me on pause. And for those that are ready for that, you're just gonna chain 2 at this moment, and then you were just going to double crochet the final 5 in a row. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that's what this looks like. And now you have yourself established, because you're going to see, if you go back to row number 2 now for the repeat, you're going to be filling this in that you see exactly in the same spots, and this will work out beautifully, as you're seeing, and these ridges are just absolutely just fantastic. So let's go back to the pattern right now. So what we need to do now is to repeat rows number 2 through 7. So you just go back to number 2 and you do 2 through 7 until the blanket is measuring a total of 48 inches or 122 centimeters. Once you have that height done, you're ready for the next row, which will start up here. And what we need to do is that we need to fill in the spaces that are open. So in the 8th row, even though it's showing here, this is the same as row number 2, and they do it just to show you the indication on how things get repeated. So when you finish, you have to end on a 7th row, and they're putting the 7th row here just to show you how the last 3 rows are going to go. So what we have to do, pay attention to the most, is the next row right here to make sure we get the right amount of stitches within the spaces that are in there, and then the next 2 are just single crochets. So after you have your 48 inches done, you're going to be ready for the next row, which is where I'm going to head you next. So let's begin the next row. You're going to put in a single crochet into the first 5, And in this chain 2 space, there's only going to be one single crochet. There's going to be one single crochet in this single crochet, and then there's going to be 4 into this space. One single crochet into this, one single crochet into the chain 2, one single crochet into the double, one single crochet into the chain 2, one single crochet in the single, and then 4. So what we're doing is we're getting ourselves to be equal so that we have a nice consistent way of finishing. Let's begin this row. So if you're ready to finish this, the next 3 rows are the final, so just chain up 1 and single crochet the first 5 that you can see. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this chain 2 space, just make it 1 single crochet into the space itself and then single into the next single. This chain 4 space is going to be 4 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then single into the next single. This is another chain 2 space, so only put in 1 single crochet and then single into the double. So you're just going to keep repeating that across. So this is a chain 2 space, so there's only 1 single into the next. And then in this chain 4 space, there's going to be 4 single crochets. Single into the next single. 1 single into the next chain 2 space. Single into the next double. Single into the chain 2 space. Single into the single. And then 4 singles into the chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Single into the single, 1 single into the chain 2 space, and keep repeating that over and over. And then on the very final 5, it's just 1 single crochet in the last 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And the 5th one is right there. That's that chainless double crochet. So this is the ending of this, and so the next 2 rows are just single crochet each, and let's turn our work and do it. So the next 2 rows of the final is just chain 1 and just apply 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way to the other side. Turn your work, chain 1 and 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way to the other side. So please do this, and I'll be back after those 2 rows are done, and I'm going to show you another tip that will be really quite handy for you. I'll be right back. So I'm now at the end. Anytime you have the loose ends with thick yarn like this, it's better to get another piece of yarn that is looking close to the same color. I'm just using Caron Simply Soft here in order to do it, and I'm creating a slip knot on the one side of the strand. So I'm going to use this, and I want to keep this long enough so I can throw this through a tapestry needle as well. So when you cut your yarn, you want to cut it long enough that you can weave it in. The problem is that when you weave in yarn like this, it can actually fall out because there's nothing to grab onto. It's not like it's a ply of yarn. So you want to just weave it through the stitch work on the edge. But I'm looking at the back side of the work right now because you can tell the ridges are not visible. And I just want to coming across just a few of the stitches along the edge. And when I do this, I don't want to pull on it to the point where it's changing the shape of the project and end up back here on the back of the project. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to put this yarn through a piece of it. Okay, this is like the core of the yarn. And I'm gonna just go through it, and I'm going to go through the slip knot here. And I'm just going to grab onto it. If you use thread, thread has the potential to splice yarn, but if you use yarn just like this, it's a lot thicker and it will hold on to it quite nicely. And what I want to do is that I want to drag this through. So I'm just going to cut this down even further. And I'm going to take my needle and I'm just going to drag it through. Okay, so I'm just going to drag this yarn through. and it's already attached to that core, so it's going to pull through. Okay, that's exactly what I want it to look like. And so make sure when you pull the first time it doesn't change the shape, and then go through it different areas. So I'm using a tapestry needle that is thin so I can get through there. So I'm going back in the other direction, and I'm going to go back into this core again in a different spot and go back through. And then I'm going to go back again. And back through again one last time. And so this loose end can never weed its way out because this other yarn that I'm using is going through. Now, I didn't tell you this, but when I was going through, I wasn't going all the way through. I'm just staying within inside the stitch work itself. And if you want to have this tie into a little knot, you can, as long as the colors are pretty close. It's going to be pretty much invisible. And then just weave in your ends. So anytime you have a loose end, I'd recommend that this is your plan of action. Okay, so now that that's in, I still have my long strand to worry about. And so the long strand that was on the edge, it's already been secured with a slip knot. So I'm not worried about that at all. But what I'm just gonna do is just take this and just weave it through just to hide it inside. Like that. And therefore, if you want to weave it in again, you can, but it is a slip knot, so it won't come out. And therefore, the other side is completely woven in, and it will not fall out on you. So that's my tip for you today. So this is where I leave you this week, and please enjoy your stitch journey. Let us know how you're doing. Just check in on our Facebook group and give us some updates on how you're doing. Maybe people can encourage you just in case you're feeling a little bit down about your project. But ultimately, we want to be part of your journey and give you a hand, and look how amazing this can be. So we'll see you on week number 2 as we finish it off, and I'll be back next week to finish. See ya.